is that 2 vests?
It's one jacket, but it's got 2 zippers for some reason.
It's like those shirts that have like the sewn in long sleeve, so it looks like you're wearing a long sleeve underneath a short sleeve.
Yeah, it's like I pro skate on the weekends.
All right, Jason with a Y.
God, let's talk about those names. What's like the dumbest fucking spelling of a name you've ever seen? Sorry. Welcome to the podcast. It is August 26th of 2023. Eric and I have met again on another Saturday to talk about shit.
Yeah. No name yet.
No, yeah, we're figuring that out.
No name. No thoughts. Head empty. I think any
Lots
name.
Of thoughts. Balls empty.
No thoughts. Bed empty.
No thoughts.
That's the name of my
empty.
mixtape. Thoughts spelled like THOT. So because I'm working at a gym, I meet like a Y.
Go ahead.
I meet a diverse crowd of people, and one of the crowd of people was like Polish and like Slovakian individuals who have a fuck ton of Y's in their name, like C's, Z's, and Y's. And I met people who were like, my last name's Martin with an I, Martin. So I meet people Martyn. I'm like,
were we related?
We're
only a part of the draft.
So, yeah, I think any name if you were to have a child, what would you name your child? What? Don't look at me like that.
If I were to have a kid.
This is a normal question that everybody asks. Anybody else?
If I were to have a kid, I honestly like going back to the basic, like super generic names like John, Alex, which coexist with my name because my name is Ivan, which is a variant of John, and there's so many different names that are variants of John.
How do you get Ivan out of John?
Ivan is like Ivan is Russian for like the interpretation of the English John. Or the European John.
Okay, so it's like if you have a Japanese exchange student and their name is like Joe Ping, and then they come over and they're like, "Call me
Joseph
Smith."
Yeah, you're like, that's,
okay.
Yeah, it's like Richard and Dick.
Yeah, and there's this guy, his name's Richard, that I know, and he got a shirt for his 80th birthday that says "Big Dick in Town."
Because it's fucking Big Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be like that, or like I keep thinking of like Josh or Steven, just really basic shit. But if it were to be something I would be interested in, is like a Greek or Roman like number or alphabet number, alphabet letter. That's the one.
Alphabet number.
Like I think Scott, my brother, wanted to name his kid, if it was a boy, Osiris.
Well, you just call him Oso for short.
Yeah. And it's like, that's pretty cool. Or just
Oh!
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool, but also I'm not trying to take it from him because, like, Charlie, I guess, is one of the letters. But, like, Foxtrot.
That's the military phonetic alphabet.
But, like, Omega would be sick.
Yeah.
I would never name my kid Alpha because if he turned out to be, like...
What if he
turned knot?
It's just like a beta male cuck.
Yeah.
If he's just like, "That's okay with me, Dad." It's like, no, you're supposed to grow a beard at 14.
Yeah, if you're not fucking hauling wood and like hurting yourself, 20-hour days.
20-hour days, 40 hours, seconds, 17 days a week. Have you ever stepped in the back of an F-150 covered head to toe in your own blood,
sweat, and
cum?
But yeah, no, I have no idea what to name the kid.
Oh, cool.
I feel like it's out of my hands at this point. I'm just like, it is what it is.
That's wild, because you're gonna like know that fucker for the rest of your life. So.
I know. So I gotta think of something like easy to roll off my tongue, but also something that's not easily bullyable. I know kids are gonna find a way.
You always gotta run any name, any idea past a 13-year-old kid,
and then see where they take it.
Yeah, because my bullied name for Eric was Air Dick because I got nothing there.
Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were really clever with that one.
Ivan didn't really have any. It was more like Ivana. I'm like, okay. You added an A. You
Erica.
try to make it feminine, like, I guess. Cool. I watched this. I can do a backflip, and that was my solution out of everything. It's like, how much better than me do you think you are when I can just whip a backflip and be like, all right, do it, pussy, and then walk away. And like, it takes a lot of mind over matter to get to that point. I'm like, I fucking crossed that bridge. Y'all
Proud of
can't. Until you do that, get the fuck out of my clubhouse.
You're weaker.
By definition, I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my under this the double jacket is a work shirt because you can see there's numbers on it from pencil that
You
never
write-
came out in the wash.
You write on yourself?
When I wear white at work, yeah, I'll take like my framing pencil
Yeah.
and I'll be like, oh man, I gotta like write these numbers down for roof shit, and then I gotta walk down and cut them. But if I write it on the piece of wood that I'm standing on, I can't take that down with me. So I'm just like,
Why haven't
Let them
you
walk down.
adopted like the old man plaid shirt with the pocket and like a little flip book?
because when it rains, flip book fucked.
Oh shit!
But
you're right,
I started doing the fucking Samsung Notes because I can doodle on it now.
Oh yeah.
And it sucks because like if I need to get someone else to cut something and it's got like a bunch of different numbers for different like parts of it and like angles and shit, and
Right.
I'm trying to like, here, let me write it down. I gotta yuck my phone like 20 feet off of a roof and be like,
okay.
look at it. And they're like, well, now I'm on messages. I'm like, well, don't fucking go there.
Now I'm in your nudes. Like, what happened here,
What
man?
happened, bro? Nice cock.
Woo!
No, but like that's why I just use my shirts. Like I'm typically my own cut guy now, which is it's nice, but also it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because normally when I'm trying to install stuff and nail stuff in and get new numbers,
Mhm.
it's good to have someone else prepping the next numbers being cut so they can just yeet them up to me. But because we have a crew of 3, it makes sense to have 2 of them together, one guy numbering and installing, the other guy cutting, so you have your cut guy.
Right.
But since I'm capable of doing both, I get
It-
assigned to just do both.
Do both.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Be
Fuck
your
it.
own one-man show.
But when it comes to that, I don't get fucked up pieces of lumber that aren't the right number because I'm cutting my own shit.
Yeah,
and
now
I
you know
can blame
everything's
myself.
done right.
Exactly. So like, why would I rely on someone else? And a good thing about that is like I'm dyslexic as fuck. So when it comes to like me yelling numbers at someone, like it could be like 69 and a quarter, and I'll be like 96 and a quarter, and they're like, okay, and then I have an extra 3 fucking feet on whatever I'm trying to get, and I'm like, what'd you do? And they're like, well, this is what you said. I'm like, well, it's not what I meant. And they're like, well, what do you want me to do about it?
I
Like
can't
you
read your
yelled the wrong
mind.
shit.
Can't read your wood mind.
Yeah, so I gotta deal with that shit all the time, and it's awful because like I'll catch myself like I go through my editing on my videos and I'll listen to myself yelling numbers at like Joe or something, and I'll write them down at the same time, and they're not the same thing that came out of my mouth, and I'm like, I get why he gets so mad when I tell him it's cut wrong because
Yeah.
I wrote down 47 and I yelled 74 or 36, and I'm like, I shouldn't be building houses.
But you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, they haven't.
Right.
I'm fucking 6
No.
years in, and none of them have fallen.
No inspector has fallen through stairs.
Yeah, Joe. He doesn't watch my shit.
Good.
He doesn't support me. Like,
Oh my
Tony.
goodness. That's all right. My girlfriend hasn't seen a single one of these, and probably will not see a single one. My dad is chomping at the bit. He's like, "What kind of interesting conversations do you have?"
Whatever happens.
I don't know.
Bro.
Have you tried a cock ring before?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Not for you.
See, the thing is,
Don't want to cage the beast.
See, sex toys don't do shit for me.
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
We
because-
did.
because you think it's like an artificial attachment.
An artificial attachment that I still end up controlling. So
Right.
it's essentially masturbation, and nothing has
You
better
use a
feeling.
hammer. You don't like fucking slap your hand against a nail.
But I'm also not
Sometimes
trying
tools
to.
are better.
But I'm not trying to get off using
Yeah,
the
you're not trying to
hammer.
come. I know.
It's a very particular like mind and body coming together to come together,
Yeah.
and I can't do that with like the toys because I'm like, unless it has like a very specific function,
Right.
it's not
That's
going to work because like a lot of it is in my head. I need to be in the situation in my head to have it play out. If I'm like watching some big titty person getting railed on camera, I'm just like,
Right. You got a picture of Aubrey Plaza on the red carpet there.
yeah, I'm just like, I can scenario that.
Right.
But then at that point, when does that become cheating when you are fantasizing deeply about you being in that situation? I can't watch porn, Eric.
I know, but like but men are very visual. You got to go for those soft circles.
Yeah, but that's like on my mind. But yeah, I like for cock rings. I put one on. I'm like, is this just supposed to keep it hard? Like, what does it do?
It's supposed to. It widens it a little bit and keeps it all in like one fucking place, like forward. I guess I don't know. Unless you get like vibrating cock rings, but
That's supposed to be like a double.
I can't get there. Right.
I feel like if I had something like jiggling it that much, I would end up pissing, and I wouldn't be like.
Well, that's where pee is stored in the ball. So you don't want to.
I fucking hate this. Oh, fuck.
All right.
But yeah, I had this vivid dream that woke me up this morning. I have never forced myself out of REM sleep, sleep, directly into waking up. There was no REM into like light sleep and then like slowly getting out of it or like jolting up. It was like I forced myself in a lucid dream to open my eyes, intertwining my reality with my lucid dream and waking up being like,
Oh, I don't like it.
I explained it to Dana today, but the reason I got up so goddamn early is because I was freaking out. So I'm in this dream. I'm at this fancy house. I'm like building it or renovating or something with the crew I'm with.
Yeah.
My boss is gone. He's doing something. He goes off. And I'm there and Joe's up on the roof and he's putting together like trusses and stuff. I'm like, oh, good for him. Like whatever he's doing. I look and I watch his path of where he's going and I'm like, none of that's supported. This whole thing's gonna fucking fall. Where's my boss? So I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't know where he is. Joe's gonna do his thing. I don't know what he was told to do or not to do, so I'm not gonna tell him what to do. So I'm just like, I gotta pee for some reason. I gotta go find a bathroom. So this is this big, nice house. Going to this bathroom, and there's like a random toilet. Fancy looking thing. But it's got a shallow, it's like, if this is the toilet bowl, it doesn't sink in. It's got like from lip and then dips into the back at a slope. So I'm like, so it's like a urinal, but a toilet.
Yeah, it's like a urinal on its side.
Essentially, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't know why. My brain is elaborate as fuck because I looked at the rest of the bathroom. There was another toilet separate for shitting, which is on the other side of the room.
Oh.
But with that one, there was beside it a hole on the ground with tiles going into it, like a shower drain kind of thing.
Oh, a squatty shoddy.
Yeah, but the poop didn't go into the toilet. The poop went into the toilet, but the sink that was on the corner of the wall spread across, and it was angled so that the water, when you use the sink, would drain one into the urinal that was there. So it curved around the sink and then into that hole that you would pee into. So it was like a continuous like flowing system. And then the other water would drain beside the toilet. So it was like this rainfall kind of situation.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. But then I'm like, in my dream, I'm like, I didn't know I was dreaming. So I was like, I have to piss, but I can't piss for some reason. I'm like, my mind won't let me do it. I'm like, something going on here. I took all my shit off. And I'm like, took all my clothes and wandering around this bathroom. I sit on the toilet and I'm like, still feels wrong. Can't pee. I don't know why I can't pee. It's because my mind was trying to make sure I didn't piss the bed.
Ah, okay.
So I'm like,
all right.
I'm like, fuck. And so I'm like, I'm sitting on this toilet and I'm trying to think. I'm trying to process what is going on in my head that it's not letting me pee. And all of a sudden my boss comes banging on the door and I'm like, he says, what are you doing in there? It's been like half an hour. I was like, oh shit, it has. My stomach's not feeling good. I'm trying to get whatever it is out. And he's like, what do you mean your stomach's not feeling good? Like, there's good food places all around here. You shouldn't be having like stomach issues. I'm like, that's out of character. My boss is nice. This doesn't happen. This is a dream. And I was sitting on the toilet. I'm like, that's why I can't pee. I'm in my bed. So I'm like, I'm in this dream, super deep and lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
And like, it is very real to me. And now I'm sitting here trying to force my mind to wake up. And at the same time, I was doing it so quick because I had to pee and it was in an urge, like a sense of urgency. I am now seeing inside my room and the dream at the same time. And it is so mind-boggling. Like, it was like a trip. Like, I was on shrooms.
Like a genuine...
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I got this flash, like, through my brain. Like, I didn't see it, but I felt it. And I was in my bed. I'm like, fuck! And I got up and ran to the bathroom. And then Dana was like, you're up early? I was like, I had a fucking experience.
I touched God.
I touched God. I've never forced myself out of like that deep of sleep before just because I was like panic. So that was, I love. Do you ever like get into dream theory and stuff?
I love dreaming. I love dreams. I love everything about it. I love when people tell me their dreams. I love...
Do you have any experiences? Because I got a good one.
Well, like there's the classic, like I'm falling and then my brain doesn't know what death is. So when I land, I wake up. Those
I
are
just
the fun
respawn.
things.
I don't like, you know, the Halo, like, that's what happens. It's exactly what happened. Yep.
Come together.
I'll close my eyes before I hit the ground, and then I'm just like, I'm standing up again, and it's just like, so just do it again. I'll jump. Fucking, I'll do it.
I'll have those girlfriend dreams. You know when your girlfriend has a dream where you did something bad, so they wake up and they're mad at you throughout the
Yeah.
day, and you're like, "What did I do?" And they're like, "Nothing. I just had a dream
That you were shitty.
You were bad." Sometimes I'll have dreams where Emma is like, "Hey, I found this cool guy who's better than you at everything," and it's like this fucking turtle that she's holding, and I'm like,
Fuck him. Do it then. Fuck him. I don't want
I want to see. Or just like, do you ever have dreams where you're walking down a hallway and all the paintings that are along this long hallway are all moving and talking to you?
No.
Super cool. All right, cool. I'll just one for the therapist. Me too.
You got one picture of your mom, and she's like wearing bright clothing, like, you're doing great, son. And then the next one, she's wearing like her uniform, and she's just like, you could be better.
You're doing great, daughter. I don't know. That's scary stuff.
I don't like how time works in dreams.
Well, how it doesn't work? Because
Yeah.
have we talked about time? Have we talked about how time isn't like a linear exception or a linear understanding because the human brain can't comprehend the vastness and the length
Spectrum.
of time, so it has to dissect your timeline
On a clock.
within moments and segments, because you can't like
Comprehend everything happening all at once, because
Yeah.
I feel
or
like
like a linear
it's a
timeline.
government conspiracy.
So you gotta,
yeah.
Well, yeah, they're putting shit in the water to make the frogs gay. They might as well segment our consciousness and understanding into slices that we call memories.
Because if
and
we
then,
start thinking above that, then like we become more sentient than we need to be, and understand that society and everything that happens around us means fuck all, only to benefit the specific few who can do whatever the fuck they want.
right? I was walking with Emma this morning. We went for a morning walk, and
That's nice.
it was so nice. And I was walking, and we were talking about a problem, and I was like, you know, if you zoom out far enough, you can't see the Earth. If you just, the Earth is gone.
Like consciously, or just like through like
Just like if you imagine it, or like if you shot a camera out, right?
oh god, yeah.
Our sun is one of a trillion stars within our galaxy,
Of
and there's a trillion galaxies that we
within our
can
cosmos.
see. It's not even a trillion within the cosmos. It's hundreds of trillions within a thing that we kind of understand,
But still cannot comprehend it because the light doesn't travel fast enough for us to be able to fucking understand it.
and we haven't even seen. We will never be able to see the existence within like all of reality. And if we try to, we go insane.
Because yeah, it's just shit we can't comprehend. We're fucking monkeys.
Like being a monkey.
Yeah, but I think the reason I brought up time and dreams is because I spent 2 years in a dream that lasted 8 hours of sleep. You know how fucked up I was when I woke up?
When you woke up, you're like, "Where's my kids?"
Yeah, I was like, where the fuck is everybody? Like, so many people died. It was like an apocalyptic situation.
Oh, okay.
Like, there was it was in my hometown, and under the mall that was there was apparently like this. It's on a border of like a bunch of like facilities and stuff. So like, you're obviously going to assume that there's like underground shit.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, it's a border of the U.S., Canada. It's a good for trade, whatever. There's underground, whatever, probably somewhere. So I'm like, there's something going on under there, and a bunch of things started going off. The mall sunk into a sinkhole because something went wrong, and then it was almost like a zombie infection, but also not. It was more or less just like lesions and like leprosy. Like this, people were deteriorating, and like they were now becoming like, we are now a group of like cannibalistic, blah, 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 whatever it is.
Okay. Cool.
And then there's now the military force and civilian force that's like, we don't want this to spread. We need to get it under control. And through this entire encounter, I am trying to run away from the center of origin, which was that mall, which is now in a sinkhole. And next thing you know, what time is it?
1:53.
Shit.
Do you have to be out of here by a certain time?
Dana has lunch at 2:15.
Okay, you have to communicate these things to me,
Now we know.
because then we can work with it.
Yeah.
How far away does she work from here? Like a 20-minute drive?
Yeah, long enough. I gotta get food still.
I woke up an hour ago.
I didn't
Okay.
tell you that I was on my way. I just kind of came because I assumed that we were like, yeah, tomorrow same time, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be late, so this is technically the
That's
same
even
time.
better. Even better. Yeah, no, I woke up at like 4:30, and then walked around my house, went for a
8 a.m.?
walk. Yeah, came back,
Fuck.
and I'm awake at 2:30 every day of the week because I gotta go to work on that time. So my brain and my body are just like, you don't get to sleep in. And then, so I walked around for a little bit, and then went back to sleep after a few hours, and then woke up again. You were here, or Emma was like, hey, Ivan's here.
Ivan's made a guest appearance.
And he's wearing rollerblades.
Yeah, what
I don't know why. And I said, did he rollerblade here? She was like, maybe not. I don't know.
It would have been a trek. I would have left. You know how like Google Maps has like, here's how long it'll take by car to get to this place, by bus, bike, and walking.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Thanks.
Good morning.
Thanks.
Good morning. I'm gonna
been-
address it.
I've been awake for 8 minutes. Do you want to
Yeah.
get off?
I just fucking yell at you right off the hop.
Yeah.
But they don't have like rollerblades. Like I feel like that's the intermediate between biking and walking. So do I take those two averages and like split it down the middle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because like rollerblading, I could compare, like if I'm rollerblading at a constant speed, I would say I keep up with a bike.
Yeah. Well, okay. You keep up with a cruiser bike. I don't think you'd be able to keep up with like a bike.
A street bike.
Yeah. Well, like there's like cruiser bikes, commuter bikes, and then like you're trying to you gotta get some
Marathon.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
they have like the 87 different speeds and their feet don't come off the pedals because they're latched to them.
Yeah, when
Like
I
your
was
bike.
when I was training for my triathlon, my top speed was 86 kilometers an hour,
Fucked.
and I was just like,
That's minimum highway speeds.
yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going on like country roads, which I was at that time, and I was just like,
Yeah.
it was rough.
Man, I always think, how do speedometers on like devices on you register your speed? I know things can go through GPS, but like if I'm on Google Maps and it's like trying to track my exact location, it doesn't do the best.
So I don't know the science behind it, but I do know I could have a guess. So here's my guess. You know when you're driving down the highway and you see lines on the side of the road? Do you know
Okay.
what those are for? Like horizontal lines that go out at 4 feet? Those are for planes.
To know that it's a landing strip for an emergency landing.
Wrong.
What? Fuck! They lied to me.
They're they're police planes, and that's how they judge speed, because they can calculate how fast you're going based between. So if it takes you 4 seconds to go from one line to another line, and then it takes you 4 seconds to go from that same line, you're maintaining a speed at a certain speed, and now they can calculate it using math and shit on how fast you're going, because they know how far
police were
apart
like
though.
dumb.
I would say police have probably the hardest jobs ever.
Well, yeah,
and you should
I
probably
don't
lay
get
down
stabbed
some
every day.
respect for our boys in blue
But math.
and girls. Anyone
math.
can be. Well, I feel like they just send the math off to someone else.
Because it's like me. I could use a handsaw to cut a piece of wood, but I do have an electrical circular saw.
Right.
With them, they got the little.
Yeah, they got their radar guns.
Yeah. So that's why I'm wondering why they need the lines. Like, who's up there in the helicopter being like, what's your frame rate?
I think it might. I
He's
think it may also be a camera that does
not
that.
actually speeding.
He's not speeding. Go on to the next one. And I don't think they do that anymore.
It's just in case, like, all their equipment goes down. Like, we need to make sure we know how fast he's going. How fast is he going to make it to Arizona? We need to know.
We need to catch these people for speeding.
we need to meet the quota. It's the end of the fucking month.
The homelessness is at an all-time high. We are arresting people by the thousands every year. I want to see how fast he's going.
How fast is he going? Do the math.
Get the pen and pencil out, boy.
It's for airplanes. No, it's for speeding. What was the other thing? Right. Bidets.
Bidets.
That's what we were on.
Yeah. So, do you think about how much toilet paper you use? How much how much you wipe?
Ungodly amount.
How many
of toilet
squares
paper.
do you use to wipe your beehole?
Way too many. I know I use an excessive amount of. You want to hear my routine?
Hit me with your butthole wiping
So it
routine.
doesn't matter if it's a toilet that I only use. I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I will first start off by going to the bathroom, grabbing 3 squares,
Okay.
folding them 1, 2, 3 on top of each other to make one thick square. So
Technically,
3 ply.
it's 1, 2, because now you just have a 3
Right.
ply.
It's
Yeah.
a 3 ply. So I go bap bap.
Okay.
And then I wipe the seat
Yeah.
just in case. Don't know if it could have been my splash, someone else's splash. If they
You're doing this at home?
This is at home.
This is at home. Oh.
I make sure my ass is clean.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wipe it and I place it directly in the center of the puddle of water because I have had so many experiences where I just I shit super fast and hard out of my ass where it just splashes, and I am terrified of getting just the mixture of that poop water, whatever else was left in there from residue. I know it's clean water, but you shit in there all the time,
Which
so
is
there's
wild
residue.
that we clean and shit water.
Yeah.
Or in clean.
We
shit
clean
and
and we
water.
clean and
There we
shit
go.
water. Yeah, and I'm terrified of the splash damage to the area of effect that splashes up and hits me in the asshole again, and it startles me.
Gives you a little kiss.
Yeah, and that's I'm like, that just touched my poop and then touched my asshole again. I know it just came out of me, but now it's wet
Now it's worse.
and it's
yeah.
cold.
It's like a
and
pee
now I'm
inside of you is
clenched
sterile.
again. Yes. So I put the toilet paper, the 3 ply,
The safety
in
net.
the center, the safety net. But then, what I normally do is once I'm done wiping and I drop the one in the center, I take 2 more and then do a landing strip on top of it to cover the extra ends. Because my shit's just long, big, splash, all the time, every time. So I'm already at 5 before I even shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're at 5 to 7. Because you said 2 squares 2 times. Full
No.
landing.
No, I do the 3 for the wipe and
square,
splash,
yeah.
and then I do the landing strip, so it's just the 2 squares that I
2
lay
squares
on top.
for landing. Okay.
Yeah, because
okay.
that's a longer strip,
Yeah.
cover more water, less splash.
Yeah, I'm waking up now.
Yeah, and then every time I wipe, I use 4 squares.
Wait, every time you wipe, how many times are you wiping?
I am wiping average 4 to 7 times, I'd say. So I'm using close to 28 plus squares per shit. I use a lot of fucking toilet paper, but
picturing-
my ass does not chafe and it is clean. There's never a speck. I pull hairs to make sure they're wiped off, the whole thing.
I'm picturing your plunger right now, and he's got a cigarette. He's like,
It's been a day.
The things that I've seen,
Yeah, these
the
Costco,
shit I've gone through, you have no idea.
Costco toilets are fucking goated. They just,
all right.
yeah,
So I'm about to save you
a lot of money.
$5,000 a year.
Yes.
Bidet.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I
Do you
know.
know what a bidet does?
It shoots the clean water up your asshole, and you don't have to wipe.
That's it.
The only thing you have to do now is just towel after.
Well, you dry. So if
Yeah.
you do have your shower towel in the morning, and you you give yourself a little floss, but other than that, whoosh.
Just steam and pressure up, at
Right,
my
you can get
asshole.
them cold if you want, to have a bad time, or you could spend an extra $50.
Get a water heater.
Get them
water
well-
regulator on the fucking toilet.
Yeah, make it soft. Get a soft water filter. So I don't
You-
like soft water.
I don't know what the fuck the difference is. What the fuck is soft water?
It's calcium buildup.
Okay.
You can check your shower head, and you can also have at-home test kits for soft water. But usually it's relative to wells. If you're connecting to town water, you don't have to worry about softer hard water. So the more calcium buildup, or the more minerally your water is, the harder it gets, and the more it feels more
Grainy and sandy.
grainy on you. But if you get soft water, which is the worst part about soft water, because it's good and it's blah blah blah, but you always feel slick. It's
Okay.
when you have a shower, you're
It just comes off, and it's not. Okay.
yeah, but it leaves a weird residue almost. I think you would hate it more than anything.
Yeah.
'Cause I know
use
your
Dawn,
slickness.
Yeah, I use Dawn dish soap as bars of soap now. I just head to toe.
I get it. You're cool and funny and smart and handsome. Everyone loves you, but dude, what the fuck?
Why would I treat myself in any other way?
So I'm trying to
One
buy
standard.
a bidet, but I could save more if I buy 2. Because they have a 2-for-1. Do you use a squatty potty at all?
No.
So a squatty potty, you know what it is?
Naturally,
Do you
I
know
just
why
put
it
my
is?
chest to my knees. If I have a really big shit that I need to cut, I head to my fucking feet and just squeeze.
So a squatty potty is it's a little stool. It's probably like a foot high, maybe a foot and a half,
To help you.
and it's to help put you in better pooping position.
That's why I put my knees to my. It is chest to knees, not knees to chest.
So
Feet don't leave the ground.
I've been thinking of a bidet, but one, you have to install it, and I haven't talked to my landlord yet because I don't want him to know the cleanliness of my asshole. But
Why
it's
not?
just
Bodily function.
it's just a bypass.
Okay.
So you turn off the valve and then you unplug it
Then you
and then put it
reinstall.
back and then you put in like this bypass and then you twist that in, and then you're fine. You hook
You've
it
done
up to the
so
toilet
much
seat.
bidet research. I like that when you look into getting something, you're like, I need to know everything about it because that's the most sense to make. Because if you're gonna get it, you might as well fucking know everything about it.
I've got like 5 Amazon links.
Fucking for
all
bidets.
all of them relative to like pressure and review.
What if you
and
just like hooked up?
heat.
Is it cheaper to buy just like a shower head attached to the top of the toilet? Just hook it up.
It's
to
not
that?
going to get you the pressure.
It's not gonna be.
It's
What
not
if it's like
gonna
a
get you
really?
the pressure.
What if it's like a 1/4-inch hose and it's like it's literally just like a spray nozzle?
You
like,
could do that, but you could do that. But I think that if you get the bidet and you get like the most user friendly one, you got knobs that you can turn. And if you're now sharing a bathroom with your boo, I think she would really appreciate it.
yes.
Because it's not just clean asshole. It's clean asshole, and then you lean forward. Now it's clean balls, and now it's clean puss, right?
Yeah.
So this is all for educational purposes, so YouTube can't take it down.
I don't want to take it down. You saw the guy's asshole. You know that it's okay. It's educational.
Yeah.
If we move too fast, the frame rate just doesn't like it. Like you're on YouTube.
So, yeah. And if I get 2 bidets, I'm not going to install them in 2 different places in my house because that's a really good idea, and that would really please a lot of people.
It would retail value of this place.
I would have to increase the rent. Oh, I'm taking the bidets. Unless we're getting like an extra $5,000 out of this, I'm taking.
You're taking
the
them with you.
bidets.
Yeah, you're just gonna install a random fucking shitter you find on the side of the road. Like
Right.
whatever, the house is gonna be $1 million anyways.
Right, where's the porta bidet for the porta potties?
Welcome to Canada.
And then so if I get 2, save the money, and I can't like gift them to anybody because my mom on her birthday isn't gonna open it up and be like,
Wow, I'm so glad you're
Why-
concerned about my asshole.
"Why do you keep doing this?"
You smell, Mom.
You-
Clean it.
the hoochie coochie's getting a little woo. So, yeah, do you want a bidet?
I would highly consider a bidet.
Right.
would say
It's
toilet
free
paper.
though. Like you don't have to worry about it.
Oh shit! Then fuck yeah. Why would I
Okay.
not want a free bidet?
Well, the price of my bidet is installing it for me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
I could put plumber under my belt. I touched an outlet the other day and it was like basically an electrician. Did I shut off the power before I did it? No.
I had a dream 40 minutes ago before you woke me up, and I was like turning on light switches all in my house, and like half of them were working, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta call Ivan and figure this out." You're in my dreams now as the go-to repairman.
I'm the repairman. That's me.
That's you.
All I'm known for is the trades.
No, you're just known for being handy and for being good and good at what you do. Right?
Yeah,
What do you-
damn.
What do you
Crazy
call
comes
me
after
about?
good.
What do you call me about? What am I useful to the society?
You? Therapeutic release. I don't know what you call that.
All right, that's called a hand job. Let's next question.
All right. I can do that. Also, hand jobs, stop it. I've seen the quote before. Just use your mouth. Stop. Why would you use a hand?
I think it's a conversation that you need to have where it's movement towards the goal, right?
Slap it. You don't. What is it? What is this?
I think you need to communicate about pressure.
Well, if they're gripping, then obviously no. But like I the last time I've received like a hand job, a handy was like probably when I was like an actual one, not like grabbing
Okay.
for arousal, but like
What's
an
the difference
actual
what's the difference between them? Because I have the answer.
between a hand job and a grab.
And a grab for arousal.
Intent.
Duration and eye contact,
Oh, I guess
right? Because if I'm like,
that's a hand job.
that's a hand job. But if I'm like,
This is educational.
but if I'm just like, ooh, like maybe getting some tip work in there, that's not. So I don't want to dive into those specific things. But so now, but that's just like, that's the warm up period, right? You go from that, you spend
I think you got to split it into like a fifth, a fourth, a third, which that math does not add up, but fractions also don't exist.
Numbers don't. Nothing that we conceive exists.
I know, and like nothing exists. Nothing exists if we stop perceiving it.
Yep. Stop. Okay, let's go.
So,
Hand job.
hand job. So you go from the hands, and then that's like the gateway to the mouth, and then that's the gateway to the puss, and that's the gateway to the butt, and then that's the gateway to whatever. Right now you're thinking about thighs. Now you're thinking about
Well, here's the thing.
yeah.
I'm the kind of person who's just like, you give me the slightest interaction of like you're trying to get aroused, I'm just like, all right, straight to it, straight to the fact. I am like, we're getting to what we
no warm up, swan dive right in
for the most
right
part.
into the
Yeah,
box.
if I'm trying to be intimate and there's like if there's lingerie involved, I'm like, okay, there's a play here. There's a whole movie to go.
Yeah.
To go, like that's what you do. But most time I'm like, we're at Denny's. We're getting fucking milkshakes.
Right,
and
you're both getting grand sandwiches.
grand sandwiches, and then like your leg touches like up my thigh. I'm just like,
It's go
no
time.
cameras over there.
Give me the check.
Right away. Not even the check. I'm just go do it for however long
Behind the
the
weird
20
claw
seconds
machines,
it
yeah.
takes, and then back to schmammages.
Is this like a solo endeavor, or are you like inviting this? Because women need a little bit more warm up. They can't just like
No, that's the whole like getting to that point.
for
If I'm-
you. Okay.
Well, if I'm out there with them the entire time, I'm just in their head already being like, I'm gonna get them wet, so that when the time comes, it's already prepped. The entire date, they are going to be wet. That is it. That is the plan. It's the pretty boy thing.
Have you gone on a date where it doesn't end in that?
Nope.
Where like she gives you like a little kiss on the cheek, and you're like, next time. No.
Ha!
Can we call our
I have
podcast 10-4? Radio, buddy. We got a
10-4.
10 to 4.
10-4. What was the one for like? Oh, we have an injured person. 10:52.
10:52. Yeah.
Yeah. 10:52. Like all the fucking time. I go to therapy now. It's cool.
Nice. Oh, we love therapy.
It's okay to go to therapy. If you have problems, work it out. Even talk with a friend. Start somewhere.
It's better to go and not need it than not go and need it.
Yeah.
My
'cause-
mom went to therapy. Do you know how that went?
I don't know.
She sat down. She got a great therapist, but he was just out of school, so he was like 23-ish, and he was like, "All right, so what brings you in here today?" And my mother's been a cop for 30 years, and she
seen
went,
some shit.
"Well, I saw a car crash, and as the 16-year-old boy died in my arms because he was ripped in half by the vehicle lengthways. He looked like my son,
Not widthways.
and I can't lengthways. He got one arm, one leg, and he looked like my son, and now I can't get that memory out of my mind, and I haven't slept in a few months."
And this therapist immediately.
And the therapist's
went
like, "So
I'm gonna go.
so what feeling did that make you feel?"
Sad, dude.
And she was like, "We're done here." Which, okay, you gotta warm up your therapist. You can't be like straight out the gates like, "I witnessed horrors upon your imagination," but also like, damn.
Yeah, my therapist.
Sorry that
was
happened,
like,
Mom.
Yeah, that's rough. Holy shit. Yeah, I don't know how I would handle it. I'd just be like, all right, I'm just gonna work at McDonald's. This wasn't my field.
So I also do you want another fun therapist story?
Yeah, let's go. I guess make me feel more comfortable going to
I used to
therapy.
have a therapist. Her name's Nicole Carswell. She was fantastic. I can say her name because she's dead.
I mean, you can't really hate someone who's dead, really.
I know. Well, you could. I don't know. Hitler's pretty not cool anymore.
How do you haze Hitler though?
Oh no, not haze people. Oh, are you talking about? Okay.
Because like the reason you don't say names on stuff is because people will go and be like, "I'll find where you live,"
Yeah,
but now
that's
people are
called
like, "I know where
doxing.
to." Yeah,
That's called doxing.
That's what I mean.
Doxing. There we go.
Dox them.
You can't dox them. No. So
Right. I used the wrong word earlier.
right, haze is like a
You're a
like
new
a
guy.
freshman. Yeah, let's haze him.
We're gonna
Let's
put your dick in your
pants 'em.
ass. Yeah, like
What?
hazing.
We went through different
Freshman.
hazings.
Okay.
So I sat down and I was like, my girlfriend. I was in grade 11. And I was like, my girlfriend is now a guy, and he broke up, and I had to break up with him because they're not a girl anymore. And then she took off her wig,
The therapist,
the therapist, and she said,
like
I
the
have-
one on her head.
Yeah.
Okay.
She said, I have 2 types of undiagnosable blood cancer. I will be dead in 6 weeks.
So were you her therapist, or what the fuck happened? That seems like a
I
really
got
bad
so
exchange.
one up.
How do you like? Thank you to this therapist for turning me into a therapist. And what are you now going to school for, Eric?
Psychology, so I can be a therapist.
Yeah.
It wasn't Nicole's fault. She was going through
I
a little
feel
bit more
like
than
she
I
had an
was.
input.
But I feel like she should have, maybe collected the money before she dropped the wig. Because, like, it was 4 minutes into our therapy session.
I feel like everyone has cancer nowadays. Now that you say
Well,
it.
like,
Everybody.
I know.
Like, so-and-so's parent has cancer. The
Yeah.
other person that I am not a fan of. My buddy from work, the young guy, his dad passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Well,
got
it's so
it.
easy to get cancer.
Hank Green, now good.
Cancer,
But cancer.
A mutation of the cells. Do you know how
Yeah.
many trillions of your cells die every year?
Every 10 years, aren't you replaced biological, like the ship of Theseus?
Well, every 7 years. Also,
7.
7. They're actually thinking it's a little less now.
Oh, yeah.
Just based off of like deterioration.
That's why I can still do stupid shit.
Yeah, because your body's like, all right, this one's fucking ruined. Give him a new one.
Immediately.
Immediately.
My metabolism is
Well,
fucking
that's what
contributed to it.
walking's so good for you is because you're crushing red blood cells, and your bone marrow is like, whoa, we need more of those red blood cells because we're running low because she keeps fucking crushing them.
It's
on your
when I'm
feet.
jumping off 20-foot buildings. You just like crush everything down from the shin down. That's why my shin splints hurt so bad growing up. Parkour.
Parkour. So how's your therapy going?
It's good. My therapist, the first session, I ran her over the time because the entirety of my fucking life story, and like I'm 2 sessions in, and we ended the second one with, it sounds like there's like an inner child in you that like it just seems like there's you're a people pleaser, and like it's something that you need to like work through. I'm like, my mom. And she's like, what? I was like, my mom. I love her to bits. I absolutely love my mom.
Yeah.
But holy shit, do I look back and I'm like, that's where a lot of it comes from.
Just because you love someone doesn't mean they can't fuck you up incredibly.
Yeah, that's kind of like my life.
But that's the cool thing about feelings and your internals is because it's how you frame them, right? Because your inner child is really good for you.
Yes.
It's what gives you your wonder. It's why people have kids. People
Because
have
they can
kids
see it again.
because they can see it again. They can experience it again. When you see a child pick up a baby, I'm gonna fucking cry. When you see a kid pick up a flower and they're like,
It's beautiful.
"What is this?
It's colors.
This is amazing!"
smells
And you're
good.
like, "It's a flower. I've seen a million of them." Because you're gone.
Yeah.
You're gone, and that
I
child
feel
is
like I
brand
haven't
new.
let go of that, so that's really good.
I know that's where your inner child is so good. That's where
He's
your
a
inner
part of
child's
me.
so
I
good.
never let go of it. I appreciate.
But that's the thing. Everyone has their inner child. Some are larger than others, but like a dynamic that people need to fulfill, and that's what doom scrolling does. Sometimes is just
yeah.
the kid inside of you becomes an iPad kid, and that's why you're doom scrolling is because you're sitting there like,
How do I find?
I
my
gotta give him
watch-
something.
How do I find my watch time? That's so loud. Stop that.
So your inner child.
Yes, my inner child, and I was just like, yeah, no, a lot of it stems from my mom and like not feeling like I've like done enough for her to approve of it. My dad was fine. My dad, he was quiet a lot of the time, and he apologizes for it now. I'm like, no, Dad, I know you loved me. Like you took care of us. You did what you could. You worked a lot. Like I hold nothing against either of you. It was just when it came to like schooling and stuff, my mom was the one who like pushed us to be like good at it. But when I, who is just absolute shit at English, I'm trying my damnedest to like actually do, like I stopped participating in other like subjects more because I was like, I wanted to show that I can do English.
Yeah.
50s, 60s every year. Never did good. And my mom was always like, why aren't you doing this shit. And I'm like, my fucking teacher has Alzheimer's. You deal with it. She retired a year after, the year
You
that I
graduated.
graduated. So I'm like, wow, I didn't even get to fucking have a chance to have, like, you know, thrive in
Have a
in a
great
field.
teacher.
Like, I fucking can't read well. I don't choose to read books ever because I'm like, what time do I have to do that? I like being stimulated by different things. I don't have the connectors in my head to be like connecting words to now putting images in my head. It's just words to me. I sit down for like an hour and then I process what I just fucking read and I'm like, it means nothing to me. It's just a bunch of words. Now I just have to like interpret it onto paper a different way. That's how I saw it. I saw it as a math problem. I would take all these words. They said, here's how you're supposed to summarize. I'm like, well, how do I do that properly? It's like, well, it's your own opinion. I'm like, well, how do I get the formula for that essentially in my head? I'm like, I can't do that. Fuck English, man. I'm a math guy. How the fuck do I find my watch time?
So you should have screen time. I think it's under digital health. Every Sunday I get a notification saying, you're on your phone.
I
5
turn that
minutes
shit
more than last
right
week."
off.
Yeah.
Screen time. Today I am on just under 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Daytime, nighttime. How do I check the opened app? A lot. This week. Let's go from last week. Holy shit. Let's see. Total all through last week, just last week,
Yeah.
19 hours and 40 minutes. That's almost an entire day.
So just on what app?
TikTok. That's just TikTok.
So my daily average is 5 hours and 38 minutes
On all apps?
on screen time. This week, YouTube was my top one app at 23 hours and 7 minutes.
But YouTube is something you can just put on anytime.
Anytime. Well, that's
And
what
you
I
do
do.
other stuff.
I go into work. Stop listening, Brody. I go into work, and for the first 2 hours, I throw on a podcast, and I'm cleaning. I'm talking with guests.
Because
I'm doing all
it
that
just works.
because it just works for me.
It keeps you stimulated in the right ways. Because, like, I'm the same way at work. If I don't have a headphone in and I'm doing my own, like, independent work or I'm working my own thing, if I'm not listening to, like, a podcast, a song, or something just slightly stimulating in the background, and if someone talks to me, like, I can still hear them with my other ear.
Yeah.
But, like, that stimulate, you probably know the better, like reasons for it. Because, like, it is so much more efficient for me to just be, like, doing stuff that's mindless with having mindless things going on. So I'm like, I don't have to think all the time at work.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's an X there, put the thing on the X, and then done. Everything's all laid out and marked.
I think you're looking for the term baseline stimulation, where if you fall under that, you become understimulated, which means you become disinterested in not just the task, but the world and the situation around you. So that's why a lot of kids get diagnosed with ADHD while they're in like grade 4 or 5, because that's when the hard math comes. That's when the thicker books come, and that's when 6 hours in a classroom, you don't get to color, you don't get to say shit, you don't get to feel anything. You just have to
Yeah.
sit there and learn, be a good factory worker. So that's why.
That's our school system.
'Cause
I'm
that's
just
what
laughing
school's
because
made
it's
for.
true.
So there's this huge thing. You know when slime cutting videos where you'd have
The kinetic
like a
sands.
Family Guy clip, and then underneath is like Subway Surfers or something like
Yeah.
that, and everybody was like, "What happened to our attention spans? What's going on?"
Views went
Oh my
up.
So, when was the last time
Mm-hmm.
you said, "Hey man, you wanna go hang out?" I don't know. I was thinking of just like standing in front of you and looking at you, and then we talk, and then I look at you, and then you say something, and then I say something, and then you say something, and then I say something, and then you say something, and then I say something. We do that for about 5 or 6 hours, and then we chill. No, you've never done that before because it
No.
sucks.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go grab a coffee?
Want to go fucking bowling?
Want to go bowling? Want to go mini golfing? Want to
There's
go do this?
so
Want to
many
go do that? Want to go
interactions.
bird watching? I don't give a shit.
I'm not gonna stand here and just talk here. Fucking. We are doing that.
But this is us just genuinely
this
talking.
is our venting session. It's a form of therapy.
If we weren't like in here doing this, we'd be in a McDonald's talking
In a
at 11 o'clock at
McDonald's.
night. We would be doing stuff like that.
Because Dana said that looks like something that seems too much for me. It's an hour outside of Toronto.
Good idea. Let me introduce you to Canada's largest trampoline park. By the way, this account is for people who want to have the best summer ever and
Yeah.
fun activities every
So,
Don't forget to follow along.
um,
Upload just opened up.
yeah.
It's an hour outside of Toronto, and it's so worth
And
it.
it's like,
Which direction?
I don't know. And that's why I'm like, if it's an hour the other way, then that's like a 3-hour drive for us.
Just make sure you don't
Yeah.
fall over because you
What is it
will
called?
get launched into the air
Upla, oopla, yapla.
Hold on.
forever. I vlog fun activities every day, so don't forget to follow along.
UPLA.
Yeah.
Let me find it.
But I was like, well, she shot it down. So like, Eric is.
I would
the
love to do
ideal.
that for 30 minutes, then throw up, then keep doing it.
I'll see who I'll get like Joe involved too, and probably Kenny, and you'll see the dynamic that's there.
All right.
Vastly different from you.
So it's not on this side of Toronto. It's actually north of Toronto. Interesting.
Towards the Sioux.
Yeah, it's in Stouffville, right next to Gromny,
Oh, so we
right
have
next to Winstadt, Stouffville.
So Germany.
2 hour 25 minutes. I don't know. I've driven longer for a worse movie. Yeah, there it is.
Fucking shit.
So
Yep.
actually,
That
Oppenheimer
makes
was genuinely good. So
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't take bathroom
right,
breaks.
it was 3 hours of old white dudes talking. But so we've always been doing stuff, and that's why whenever anyone asks me for a date recommendation, because I am weirdly great at date ideas and relationship counseling, go do something that you like. It doesn't matter if she likes it or he likes it.
It's something that one of you likes, and it's where you can thrive.
At the end of the day, as long as you're having fun with the date, it's going to be a good date.
Yeah.
Right? If you like painting pottery, go paint some pottery. If they don't want to do it with you,
Sucks to suck.
sucks to suck, probably not the right person.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There are 8 billion people on the planet. Like, you'll find one. Like, just don't
God, I
think
hate
that
that
you...
phrase. I hate that phrase just because of recent stuff. It was thrown at me a lot.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, they were just like, why this person when there's 8 billion?
Oh, no. I'm using it more as a positive. Like when I say if you zoom out far enough, you can't see the Earth.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it because nothing matters and everything is terrible. I'm saying it as like,
Well, it's
don't
true.
get overwhelmed because all you have to do is the next best thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Frozen. That quote's from Frozen. Yeah, I think.
Man, TikTok has like really fucking put me through a lot of emotions. There's a lot of like these filler videos, and they put this like sad song on top of it, but it was like something I've never seen Tangled, but like I've always wanted to because like it seems interesting.
Yeah, watch Tangled.
Yeah,
What?
and like there was a compilation of just like Flynn and Rapunzel just kind of like back and forth. Like it's okay to fuck up. Life's short, and like you can always just like find the next thing, and like. Yeah, what if I like don't have it, like what if I like can't achieve my dreams? It's like, well, you can just find the next dream. And then it was just like, stop it! I came here for stimulation. But it was because there was the music mixed with like motivational things from like an easy little simplistic thing to understand. I was like, favorited. Fuck.
Yeah.
Watch this later. Probably cry.
Tangled was
Dumb.
actually originally marketed towards men, towards boys. So Flynn Rider is the main character of Tangled, and Rapunzel is not the main character of Tangled, and she's not even in the movie for the first like 10 or 15 minutes.
Shit.
Because it's just him. Because if they made a guy the main character and they didn't call their movie Rapunzel, they called it Tangled.
Because it's the both of them.
Boys would make more. It would make more sense for boys to go see it because if you target it towards both genders, now you have more profits.
Right. Disney played it.
Yeah, but that's fantastic. And there's a quote that I want chiseled into my gravestone, where life is too long to hurry and it's too short to worry.
But you did.
Right? Well, so somebody else. When was the last time we went to a cemetery?
When was the last time I went to a cemetery?
Yeah, or a
Hey.
graveyard.
Literally beside Dana's parents' house. So like all the fucking time.
Yeah, cool.
Where her grandfather's buried.
Yeah, look at the gravestones. Right? Sometimes you'll find a baking recipe. Sometimes you'll find somebody with your name. Well, it's very difficult with a very unique name. I always find somebody with my name because mine's just white.
Smith.
Right?
Which one are you? One of them.
I made an enemy at the gym because I said that.
Smith?
Yeah.
We were talking about gravestones and stuff, and you're like, I made an enemy. I was like, who the fuck did you like?
It's
Was
a
it the
ghost.
therapist?
It's a ghost. No. My therapist is great now. When I process a transaction at the gym, I have to go through by somebody's last name, so I can put it on their account so we can see how many they've got and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And I was like, what's your last name? And he was like, Smith.
With a Y.
And I said, all right, so out of the 55 Smiths I'm looking at, what's your
Which
first name?
one?
And he went,
This isn't my
and
fault. You could have.
immediate enemy. Like, he's never said anything other than to me, and it like breaks my heart because
It's like, I'm sorry, you're not unique. Smith.
Right?
Fucking change your last name. You can legally do that.
Right, go get married.
Anywhere. Married, you can just go to the courthouse and be like, I want it to be Jackson. Or,
I want my name to be that symbol like Prince did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff into a symbol.
Isn't it cool how we can't name anything that isn't relative to a letter or a language?
Why can't it, like, I hate that you can't name a kid like Jesus.
You can name him anything. Jesus has been a name
You can
for
do
thousands
Jesus. Yeah,
of
you can do
years.
Jesus, but apparently you can't just straight up be like Jesus. Because they're like, that's.
You can't have
do that.
representation or any form of like physical body for the Prophet Muhammad. Do you know how many Muhammads there are?
So many.
It's one of the most common names ever.
Ali.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali.
That great guy, even though his real name was Cassius Clay. And he changed it for marketing purposes.
Because who doesn't do that nowadays?
Yeah.
I'm keeping my name, but also I am also under the alias Framing Daddy, so I am a part of the problem.
Well, I think that's a title. I don't think that's like a name,
Not yet.
right? Like how we're not going to name this podcast The Eric and Ivan Show because like we should name it something interesting.
Clever.
Like, I mean,
We've had many names that have been thrown up, and we just never said. I labeled a podcast episode, and then whatever the topic was, and this
Right,
one is
that
probably going
stuck
to be
out.
like therapists and gravestones.
therapists and the dead and the dutiful.
Yeah, the doo-doo because of the fucking bidets.
Today's the bootyful.
The bootyful.
Yeah. Have you ever been to a sex store? Where you not like where you buy sex because that's like illegal or something.
I
But
feel like that's called a brothel.
where you buy sexual toys, like a stag shop or something like that.
I've been to one, but it was like briefly. But like I want to go to more. But also like once again on the topic of I don't get shit from a piece of silicone unless it's like an AI robot that's like.
I know,
invested
but
in me. But then
it's-
there's the ethics of am I allowed to do that? Because now what defines consciousness and like if at one point do they like have a Me Too movement where like you fuck this AI robot for the longest time and now it has like finally had an update where it like gains some form of sentience or consciousness that we define. Can it go back and be like I don't necessarily give you consent for that? And you're like oh shit.
I
We
feel-
just say we started raping sex toys? Is that what happens now?
I think that would be a difficult thing to argue in front of a jury unless it's an AI jury. Uh-oh.
Well, then the verdict comes out like that because there's no debate. It's just like code and then answer.
Answer.
Like milliseconds. Fuck it. Whatever. We're fucked. Terminator just became way more scary.
Oh, Terminator
You're
was always
evicted of
scary.
essay.
Well, it's like The Matrix, right?
Kind of. Ish.
Well, it's like the early stages of The Matrix.
Yes.
Because The Matrix wasn't like overnight.
No, Matrix was a build-up of it. And then we were just kind of like, we're put in the system. And now we're just batteries. Take the pill.
So the fun thing about walking into a sex store, you can't say anything bad.
What do you mean?
If you want a perfect social interaction, you can't go into a sex store and be like, because okay, let's say you walk into a pet store
Okay.
and you're looking for something, and then they walk up to you and they're like, "Hey, are you looking for something?" It's like, "I'm looking for something that I can have fun with, and my dog would like too." That's an awkward thing.
Okay.
Like you're not ready for it. You walk into a sex store,
You got
they're ready for anything.
Yeah, you got to know what you're looking for. Not, hey, I don't know, help me. And then all of a sudden there's a sexual interaction. Like, well, what are you into?
My goal is in any sex store that I go into is
How often
how
does that
fast
happen?
can I tell them my penis is small. If you ever want a goal, or if you ever want a conversation,
How do I make it bigger?
How do I how do I go in and just say like, hey, I'm looking for something that'll like give me an edge, like it really help me out if you know what I mean. And like you can't be too weird, you can't be like too awkward because like they've dealt with it all. They've dealt with it all.
No matter what you say, they've had it.
As long as you don't say something illegal.
Like,
Set you up for the perfect
Cancellation.
demonetization flag.
oh, we've
Yeah.
already hit that talking about bidets and shits, and
Hey, it's all educational, man.
it's all educational.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I want to get more onto the YouTube side of things. I just, fuck that one guy in the comments though. Oh my god, I don't know what it is about this week, but like comments have just been like on all platforms have just been just directed at me with like no thought, just straight up like, no, your mom is essentially the energy I've been getting. Like someone comes onto this podcast channel on YouTube and like, we like your TikTok content more. It's like, then stay there.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you to click the links to come here. You did that willingly, watched the hour podcast and said, meh. Like, fuck off. Go to the other stuff. This is a different type of content. This is like real life me, not just me fucking throwing shit around.
Right, not edited you.
Yeah.
This is 24 FPS you.
Yeah, F you. SU, fuck off. Whatever. I recently, I don't know if you've seen it, the recent video of me calling some guy out being like, it's the stereotypical, like, I've been in this for 28 years and I deem you inadequate. You'd be fired on my site. And I was just like, all right, let's cook. And I fucking made a video as I got the response. I was literally outside of like Dana's work and I was just like, well, this is a fun comment. I'm angry. Let's go. Immediately started recording and I straight up told him, I was like, I'll show you the video after, but it was like, I don't care how much experience you have. The fact that you're grouchy on TikTok and trying to prove a point that I would be fired on your site, it's like, first off, with that attitude, I'm not coming onto your site ever. That was not an option. Secondly, your 28 years of experience has led you to being so salty about what you're doing. I'm like, you just disproved how good of a worker you are because you have to state it on an app saying that you are unhappy with me being happy and having fun at work. Everything about it, and like I called him out, like, I've bled from my asshole and I've done it to prove that I am a better man than you, and I'm going to tell you that on TikTok, because that's where you go to vent your problems. Like, go to therapy, tell your dad you love him. Like, I don't know what you need, but like, whatever you're doing isn't it. Just be better.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that try to defend him and like, no, that guy's right because you don't have honor in your work. And then I don't have to say anything now.
What are you, a samurai?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, you don't have honor in the work that you do. I'm like, I cut wood. I build the frame of a house.
You're getting paid like $400 to build a $900,000 house that's going to be sold to a family of 28 because that's the only way they can afford it.
Yeah, because every house that I've built in the last year has costed over $1 million, but only fits maybe like a half of a one family.
Isn't it wild that you're building things you can't afford?
That's a big problem I have. I saw an advertisement on TikTok today.
Okay.
And it was the government being like, we have a shortage in tradesmen. We don't have enough tradespeople out there to keep up with the economy. And you know what that's going to do? The lack of houses being built is going to drive the cost of houses up. It's like, no, the opposite's going to happen because no one's going to fucking buy. If no one's able to buy a house, prices are going to go down. If something becomes harder to attain, why are you going to increase the price? Because no one's going to buy it. There's going to be more people looking, and all these people are not going to be like homeless and struggling and having these issues. It's like, yeah, you could go the one way of saying, well, it's a hot commodity, everyone's going to want it. It's like, okay, well then what happens to the rest of the people that have no ability to have a house?
So what they're going to do is the uber rich, like what's happening in the fires in Hawaii, the uber rich are going to buy the real estate. Then they're going to rent it out for just below a mortgage payment.
So it's technically more affordable.
And then they're just going to keep clawing until we die.
Yeah. So that's fun. And it was just like, we just need to find a way to get more people in the trades. It's like, pay them fucking better.
If you paid me more and you told me how to do a trade, like if you gave me free education and then also made the work environment not horrific.
Yeah. It
Right?
would be more desirable to be in. It's like, why don't you work like the old fucks over there and just like work yourself to the bone and then just make enough to pass by? Like, the
Because
only
they're dying at 65 because that was
Yeah.
the retirement age when we set the economy back in 200 years ago.
Yeah, so like I hated seeing that. I'm like, we just need to find a way to make the trades more acceptable rather than just being like, well, if you're in post-secondary and you didn't need something to fall back on, it's usually the trades, but you need to think of it as something more. It's like, then give them the free education, give them the fucking tools to do so. Like, that is the dumbest shit.
And also, don't push a doctrine in public school to say that tradespeople are idiots.
Yeah, because then no one's going to want to do that without putting themselves down.
I went into high school, and my high school was actually designed to promote the trades because we had a full garage where teachers would bring in their cars. We would repair
automotive
them.
practice,
Automotive
yeah.
press. We had a full carpentry studio. We had a full technology studio. We had the ability to make
Good tradespeople.
good trades. We had a welding studio.
And yet,
Horribly underfunded, not popularized. You could only take one class, and that was the prerequisite for the pathway. But if you took that one class, you were socially and publicly ridiculed because you
you're
were
dumb.
too stupid to do the sciences. Hey, do you know somebody who's got, I don't know, 4 degrees, but they're still a fucking idiot?
yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, we know that for these people.
And just because you have a degree doesn't mean you're smarter than anyone. But
It means you have one branch to lead into one specific field where the trades are so interchangeable.
so interchangeable, and give people the pay, give people the working hours, make them work. Yeah, they could work 7 days a week. You could easily work 7 days a
I'd
week.
make a lot
You
of
could
money.
work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sleep on the job site, wake up, still,
Keep bundling shit together.
and then die in 5 years. You
Yep.
could easily do that. Easily.
Wouldn't be able to afford a house.
Wouldn't be able to afford a house. Right? I think the statistic is you need 6 full-time jobs to be able to afford a house.
Right now, yeah. And I unfortunately didn't get born into, straight up having wealth and having a house given to me and everything like that. Like, I was told to go to school, but I was like, for what? Like, I don't see the purpose for it. Even people who are in the trades and like continue to go to school for it, it's like, yeah, you're advancing yourself to like have a better understanding, but I could buy a $50 textbook that tells me everything you're going to learn in school, and it's all math. Everything is by code. There's so much that isn't like interpreted. It is straight up, here are the rules, you need to follow them.
Math and experience.
Yeah, there's nothing to be interpreted about it, and that's why I'm good at what I do. I would define myself as good, and then, like, it's not for stupid people. Like, it does take thinking, but also, if you have literally one book about the field you're in, it has every step to take to doing something. It's not like, oh, well, here's what you have to think about possibly doing and then figure it out on yourself. It's like, no, if you need an answer, there's a book and there's a fucking like specific answers to what you need to do. There is no,
Yeah.
well, maybe. No, it's there.
And why are we gatekeeping apprenticeships? Okay,
You can only have X amount
I
of
had a
people
dad
per
who was
year.
around for a little bit, but like as much as he could be relative to the court order. And so I had no mentor,
It's not funny.
really.
It's not funny.
It's hilarious. I had no mentor. I had no coach. I didn't play any sports. I had no sensei to be able to follow. I had to figure all that shit out on my own. Kind of, yeah, maybe. Ugh. A huge problem in the trades is the old people don't want to teach the young people how to do the job because the old people are afraid the young people are going to take their job.
they will.
Guess what? We will. When you retire and when you die, then we'll take your job.
Yep.
Because somebody needs to do the job.
Oh my fucking god! It's just speaking of that type of situation with the old people who like literally gatekeep. It's not like, oh, well, they're the master or they're the journeyman. They're allowed to like treat you like shit and stuff. It's like, well, no. Here's the thing. When I first started in framing, I knew how to read a tape. I knew how to do like the very, very basic things. But when it came to like what was required for code, if I didn't know that something needed to get done, then it needed to get taught to me. But the way it was taught to me in my first crew was, hey, what the fuck are you doing? That's stupid. Why are you doing that? It's like, oh, I wasn't familiar. That's what I was supposed to do.
No
And they're
idea.
like, well, you don't do that. And I'm like, well,
Then
now
what?
I know. But why the fuck would you just tell me that, not fucking start yelling at me?
What
like,
do I do?
And it's like, it's not that I'm sensitive. It's just you're a dick and I don't want to listen to you because you're a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
if you came up to me and you're like, hey, like, don't do that. Like, we got to do it this way because this is what code requires. I'm like, that's pretty fucking sensible. And then the crew after that was the same thing. It was like, I hold all the fucking knowledge. You need to learn from me. And I'm like, okay, well, then why is this required? It's like, you don't ask questions because I just tell you what to do. And I'm like, well, then what the fuck do you want me to do here? Because, like, I'm going to keep fucking up unless you tell me what the process is. It's like, well, that's something you learn over time. It's called osmosis. It's like, this is a legit experience.
You don't
That's
even
why
know
I'm
what osmosis is.
You don't know what osmosis means, you fucking moron. You're,
Right? They think it's water moving from one place to another. Guess what? It's a concentration equation.
So it was really frustrating. I speak from experience because that's why I'm so frustrated and passionate about it, because I lived through it. That's why I'm fun on job sites. That's why I'm not a piece of shit when someone needs to learn. Like, I still see it to this day. Like, if someone messes up a cut on a piece of wood, all you hear from across the site is someone yelling, why the fuck is it cut like this? And I'm like, if I have something that's messed up, I'm like, oh, do you want to, like, just double check the number? I think it's a little too big. Can you cut it to, like, this number? And I reset the number. I was like, if they do it, like, 5 times, then you'd be like, hey,
Right.
man,
And people-
can you just look
Some
for a
people
quick
are
second.
genuinely retarded.
Yes.
Right? I don't use that word lightly. I don't like it when it's used in an aggressive frame. I don't, right? It's not
Depending
an
on
insult
the
to me.
situation.
It's a descriptive term.
Yes, because it used to be used medically. It was
Yeah.
literally the term for people who were disabled and had like mental disability in
Yeah.
a certain aspect, and then because it was used derogatory, that people are like, it's
Yeah, it sucks, right? I said a couple days ago. I said we were talking. Me and a coworker were talking about a girl, and I said, and she was like, "Yeah, well, she does this and she does that." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's because she's autistic." And my coworker looked at me and she was like, "Why would you say that? What? Huh? No, she's not. Are you thinking about this person? What? Huh? Huh?" And I was like,
Would you prefer me say on the spectrum? Like, what the
but
fuck
also
do you want
like
me to say here?
not an insult.
No.
Not like I'm saying like I'm not diagnosing this person because diagnosis is incredibly difficult and it takes a very long time to be able to do for any sort of mental illness, but also like I get what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. This person is autistic. They have
It's-
autistic tendencies, and what we're describing right now is an autistic tendency.
Yes, that's what that is. It's like most social interactions that are out of place are deemed like, what would you say? Like deemed
Awkward.
awkward or socially unacceptable for like in the slightest sense can be considered someone who could be on the spectrum. Like
Right, like an Asperger's thing
I
or
was
something
about to
like
say
that.
yeah, Asperger's. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like I knew a guy who like just high functioning, but like he was diagnosed with Asperger's because like when he does get into a social situation of any other kind, like he's just you can slightly tell that it's there, but you could also be like, oh, he's just awkward. It's like, well,
Right, he's also like maybe he's a beat away from something.
Yep.
Right, maybe you say hi and he goes,
yep,
hey, like he takes a second. It's like, damn, throw a diagnosis on that boy.
yeah, like he's no,
But that's what we do with our brains. Our brains are meant to do two things: simplify and categorize.
yep, because
What is it and where's it go?
Yeah. But yeah, it's just the gatekeeping is so ridiculous, and I'm lucky I'm on the crew that I'm on now. Like before this crew, I had it was a bunch of younger guys, like all the same age as me. When I was 24, I had a bunch of guys all the same age, and we all clicked together if something needed to get done properly. Like we communicated. There was very little, hey, you fucking idiot, why'd you do it this way? It was, hey, who did this? We need to fix it before we go on to the next step. And I was like, oh, like I did it, I'll own up to it. But if someone comes up to you and they say, why the fuck did someone do this? Who did it? You're not gonna raise your hand. You're gonna be like, I don't want to be stabbed.
I don't want to be
It
in
was
trouble.
probably
I have to
the
learn.
new guy.
Yeah.
We always blame stuff on the ghost framer at that point.
Right.
They're like, who's the ghost framer? Well, the ghost framer is the guy who fucks up because no one wants to own up to it. So it's got to be the ghost framer.
Right.
And now that was just a situation for a lot of stuff. And like, Crispy, oh my god, fucking, do you remember me talking about Crispy?
I remember Crispy.
God, he's still doing stuff. He's
Good
like,
for him.
someone sent me a video and they're like, oh, look at Crispy found a new way to listen to podcasts. And he takes his hard hat and he grabs his cell phone and he turns up the volume on it and he shoves it against his head and then puts his hard hat on it and closes it up against the side of his ear. And he's like, that's how you listen to podcasts like a tradesman. I was like, you fucking guy.
Until you're
Oh.
on a 3-story roof and it just
Gone. Yeah, he doesn't have a case on it either. He just fucking raw dogs his phone case on a job site. That is his phone without a case. It's just,
that is rough.
yeah, he's a guy. I love him. I miss him so much. I miss a lot of the people on those crews. There's a lot of people I don't miss,
Yeah, well that's with every
and that's why
Thing.
I left.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just the people that gatekeep are the ones that prevent people from coming into the trades because like if you're gonna be an asshole, who's gonna want to be around you? And if you're not gonna admit you're an asshole and just say, well, that's because people aren't tough enough, it's like if no one's joining you because they're not tough enough, then maybe you're just a cunt. I don't know what else to
Right.
tell you.
If everybody this is what I tell the Sigma males at the gym. If every girl hates you, if every single girl doesn't want to be with you,
Maybe you're the problem.
right?
Maybe it's not them.
Right? If you walk up to a pond and on the sign it says turtle pond and there's only fish in that pond,
You're not gonna fucking find
is the
a
sign
turtle.
wrong? Or is the pond wrong?
The sign.
Maybe make a new sign.
Yeah.
Maybe work on
Maybe
yourself.
change something.
Maybe listen to an audiobook about self-growth, right? Maybe self-help books.
I
are
gotta
your
start
thing.
listening to audiobooks because I don't like reading, but I can listen.
Yeah, boom. Easy
So, I'm
peasy.
gonna start doing that.
Audiobooks are super boring.
Can you find audiobooks on Spotify or is
Yeah.
it just podcasts?
Well, audiobooks are now on Spotify. So you can just open it up, and then I'm not sure
But-
what the subscription side of things is. They may have like an increase.
Gross.
Hold on.
Microtransactions for free content?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So when you're on the top,
Son of a
we have
bitch.
all, and you can just scroll over to audiobooks.
There's an audio. Oh, I always click music because
and
like
then,
I already know.
Ooh, Atomic Habits by James Clear. That's on Audible. Holy shit!
you go.
You should probably read that. It's one of the greatest books ever written.
You want me to read an audiobook?
The Subtle Art of. Yeah, I want you to read an audiobook. I
Fucking
want
challenge accepted,
I
bitch.
want you to listen to it and then write it out and then read it as you're writing it.
Man, I have like the amount of time during the day I'm at work. There's just gonna be like fucking inspirational quotes written inside houses. Someone
That's
like gets
awesome.
torn down in like
I love
50
that.
years or 10 years because they need to fucking redo the market and in profits. They're gonna be like, you need to smile more, and they'll be like, oh, and then they hit it with a sledgehammer. It's like, fuck,
Well, there's this guy. His name's Alex Hormozy. He's like this. He's like this rich guru guy. He started a company that builds gyms or whatever. I don't know. He said, if I have a relatively challenging book, I'll buy the audiobook and the physical book. I'll let the audiobook read it in my head,
And
and
the
I'll
title.
let my eyes read it in my head, so I get it like 4 different ways. And he's reading. And also, the fun thing about audiobooks.
that was a man who's challenging his fucking like his perception on being.
Well, he's just trying to get it all in there. And the best thing about audiobooks, you can increase the speed. Sometimes I read boring audiobooks at 2 times speed, finish the book in half the time.
My my podcasts on my phone are set at 1.5.
Yeah.
Also, you want to know something that I thought was fucking wild? This is for you
Always.
guys too. On TikTok, so I'm just gonna open up the app. I'm gonna scroll up to a random video. No, it's a live. Yeah. So random video. Hold one of the sides of the screen. Watch this. Wait.
Times 2 speed.
Times 2 speed.
That's amazing.
So you know how like people take forever on their story times? Double that shit, still listen to it. All you gotta do is hold the left or right side of the screen. Times 2 speed. And it was from like a random TikTok. It only had like maybe like 100 views and like 49 likes. And it was like, if you hold the left side of your screen while you're watching a TikTok, it wasn't a times 2 speed. And I clicked it. And it was just like played it over times 2 speed. I'm like, there needs to be like anytime an app has an update, instead of going to the app store to be like service changes, like no. Give me
Give me a
fucking
pop-up.
updates. Yeah, give me the updates you physically put in, like Xbox does. Like, we updated this, or in games, or like, we added this. Here's all the fixes and stuff.
I think we have the technology now that whenever an update happens, it should pop up, and it should be a scrollable window, and
Right.
the first thing you see is, we updated things.
Yep.
Here's what affects you. You can hold the side to times 2 speed. You can click that, and that'll bring up a video explaining it more. And then it lists out
A mini tutorial of the update.
5 things that affects you directly, right?
As
I
the
don't
user.
care. I don't care if Spanish YouTube has better optimization. What?
Exactly.
But I care that you can hold the side of the
'Cause
screen.
now you can speed it up.
Or for typing, if you want to, instead of like trying to tap or press and hold, you can swipe on the space bar and it'll move where you type within the text.
And no one ever told anybody
No,
about that.
but
I
then-
learned about it like 3 years ago, so I've been using it for like fucking ever.
If you want the nerd shit, you can scroll down. It says we optimized the speed of multi-app
this
windowing or something like cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just segment
but
it. Like
make it dumb.
Yeah, digestible
dumb for me.
for stupid people.
Make it dumb for me because I'm dumb sometimes, and my only goal in life is to be dumber.
Because then people around you make things easier.
And then if you're the smartest person in the room, get the fuck out of that room. You will never be happy if you're the smartest person in the room.
No.
So always be like 3rd or 4th from the bottom, and you'll
You'll
always be learning
pass.
things. You'll always be fun.
You'll walk the path that's been carved out for you.
Wow! Oh, I love this. Everybody knows so much, and I just need to listen. There you go.
That's it.
That's how you love life.
And as that comes to an end as a good note instead
Yeah.
of sad stuff.
Be stupid, eat cheese.
Be stupid, eat cheese, let people do the work for you.